get RollerCoaster Tycoon up. It is time. An update is available, and I do not care. An update is always available. They are always making changes. Every time I've played this game, I just opened the sandbox, did 3 things, and shut it off. It's got a good sandbox. Like, for what it's worth, it's got a good sandbox. It does have scenarios, including, like, some stuff you can play around with that doesn't include having to deal with money. And that's, like, a really good kind of, like, thing that helps you get a feel for the game. OpenRCT2 Oh shit. Opened the wrong one. So this is my new generic game one that I'm using right now. But what we actually want is probably this. I just have to tell it where OpenRCT2 is. Let's see. Do we have it now? There we are. That's good. We have an appropriately themed chat, and I'm positioned in a way that won't completely cover the date. So let's start a new scenario. Which one do we want to do today? Big Pier. Convert this sleepy town's pier into a thriving attraction. Have at least 600 guests in your park at the end of October year 2 with a park rating of at least 600. I should do whichever one has the most blue. Well, I have good news for you, probably about Big Pier, and also about RollerCoaster Tycoon in general. Big Pier sounds like it has a lot of water. Big Pier, you know, it's probably a pier, and so it's probably on the water. That's probably part of why it's in challenging parks. Water's a little hard to build around. But also, we can color the rides anything we want. Oh, look at all that blue. Oh my god. It was literal. It was like, that's why it's a harder one. It's just on the water. So this is a RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 scenario. It looks like we are paying per ride. That's, you know, that is what it is. We don't have a lot to start with, stuff-wise, it seems. And we're not going to get an ATM, which means that people are going to be like, you know, once they're out of money, they're gone. They're getting out of here. Open the park right away. We will, of course, make stuff blue. Right away, I want a couple mechanics and what's its... And it's tricky, too, because the pier is not level with the water, right? So, like, we either lift the whole ride, or we decide to raise every single entrance and exit for these rides. It's also kind of like visually challenging a little bit. We'll do blue and gold. Maybe some white accents. Get some flat rides down just to get the park started a little bit. Get at least a couple people in. That means we can do like a... Yeah. Get a little fancy. Have I made the Torment Nexus yet? We just started and you're already asking for a Torment Nexus? Don't build the Torment Nexus is another scenario? Did someone... Yeah, maybe. I was about to say. Well, welcome home, Millie. Man, this is kind of like a tough place to put a coaster, but I'm gonna make it work. Also, we should figure out our loan situation. Yeah, let's bump up that loan. We're not gonna pay it back. Oh, it doesn't make it up the hill. It doesn't make it up the hill. Oh. I want it to make it up the hill. Is most of this coaster underwater? No, it's above water. It's all above water, but like just barely. Everything else is lifted above the water, so I have a little space under everything else to like build this in, which is really neat. I'm going to be relying primarily on the rides themselves for kind of like the visual aesthetic of this park, just because I assume they're not going to give us a whole lot of... Yeah, we don't even get to have any theme or scenery or theming for this park outside of what we start with, which is just water stuff. So I'm gonna really be relying on just the rides. I've been trying to get better at scenery and theming. No skeletons. We might have to wait till October for me to play the spooky ones. Unfortunately, no skeletons, but we do have our good friend alligator-shaped tree. I'll have to find a place for a few of them. Hopefully that's not too intense or whatever, but it's probably pretty intense. We're taking some of these a little fast. That's gonna have to be okay. Ooh, it barely makes it up that. And... ooh, that might be a little... a little close there. Like, this little spot right here. It, like, barely makes it up that. I might want to put a chain lift there, actually. Every chain lift you put on a coaster increases its operating costs. But if you make it well enough, it'll definitely make it back. So let's see how well I did. We could go with... go with... Okay, well, it made it. Ooh, those are pretty good stats. Intensity and nausea aren't necessarily bad things in this. Different guests have different preferences. Ah! Oh no, no, don't drown. You're good. You're so good. Like, that is very clearly not what I wanted, game. That's another thing, is building on all this water is gonna be, like, a little bit dangerous. But I wanted a longer line for this. I want to go on something more thrilling than Twist 1. Yeah, man, you almost fucking died. Scary Coaster Tycoon. There's a PS1 game I've been wanting to play that's about, like, riding on a deadly roller coaster. It was like a Japanese game. I'd love to check that out. It looked wild. Oops, I'll put a sign there. Especially not a no-entry sign, oops. We want people to actually go on the coasters. Actually, let's stop people from wandering around everywhere for now. I'm gonna lock people out of, like, all of these. Not all of them. Just lock people out of, like, one side of the park for now. There's no reason to go in there. I'm not building there yet. Get a turlet. Could put drinks, like, I want it specifically to face that way. Right in front of this guy. Want a drink? You're, like, trying to watch a ride because your friend's on it or something, and then just, like, immediately, out of nowhere, a building spawns and someone accosts you. The offer of a $2 drink. Since this is RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 scenario, We're gonna need a lot of benches. It's good to have anyway. But there's no first aid room. So guests are going to be entirely reliant pretty much on benches for getting themselves to be unsick. When they sit down, they get unsick faster. And it's generally a good idea for your tired guests anyway. I feel like that one... There's a park I made where everything is in, like, really little squares. And it's extremely dense. No tile wasted on any square. And I tried not to use, like, scenery. Some of my friends will be familiar with this park. They will know it as the one that has 9/11 in it. And it's massive. I feel like that was really good practice for whatever this scenario is. It does. I will have to actually just straight up show it off. I'll show it off at the end of this one. But I figured a 2-hour scenario, or like closer to like 1 hour, 40 minutes, would be a good cool down from the VR game. It's about how long a 2-year scenario takes in real time. Like, we've already hit 123 guests out of the 600 that we'll need. Do a bit of advertising. It's expensive, but worth it. We'll build one of these crappy little car rides, because those are also pretty compact. They're very easy to build. In a similar way to the little wild mouse that I made, except in this, we don't even have to worry about intensity. It's just track, and it goes at a set speed. So we can use up, like, a little bit of the space over here that we didn't use. Gonna have to go over the mouse track, which going over the mouse track is great for both rides. That will increase the excitement rating of both of them. I seem to have built myself into a corner. Kind of to be expected. Okay, we could still use that space. Just have to approach it from the other side. and it goes under its own station platform. And that's where we'll put the spinning funnel. And it's gonna look great and not horrible. The ride length requirement on this is always longer than I suspect it should be. They want to stay on this thing for like a while. Built myself into another corner. Unfortunately, we can't tell exactly how long this thing is until we test it. I get the sneaking suspicion that this isn't enough for these freaks. So we'll do one more go around like this. Extend that station platform. Man, that doesn't look good. Test that. I don't want to make this line too long. It's good if a long line can hold guests, which decreases your issues with crowding. But it comes at the cost of those guests getting upset and bored. And a ride with a solid throughput may or may not have, like, you know, a line in it. Like, just because a line is long doesn't mean the ride is actually popular or that it has a lot of people going through it. You can have a ride that looks very unpopular because there's no line, but what it's actually doing is getting a lot of people going through it very efficiently. 3.35. That's probably about as exciting as a car ride gets, without a whole lot of scenery, which we barely have access to, at least not good scenery that I like. I'm gonna recolor this after all. We'll set it to the same blue as everything else. Maintaining a consistent brand. In fact, we will actually... There we go. Big Pier. Big Pier. I meant for that to be like P as in piss. But a peer is just, you know, a person that's in your social group. So that doesn't really land very well. But we'll keep it. Because those in the know will know. One of you just gotta play music. A squint. A big squint. Like a pier in that group. Yeah, man, I've just gotta, like, you know... I've got vacation coming up with the family. We're going to the big squint. We're gonna have a little look. We're gonna have a big look. The local nickname. It's how the locals figure out if you're a real pea head. The big Pier fandom is dying. Reblog if you're a real Pier. This ride sucks. Like, I'm gonna say it, this is not a good ride. You can't even build it here. Land not owned by park. They want me to fit 600 little buckaroos in here. Is that part of why it's in the challenging section? Can I buy land? I don't know if buying land was a thing in the first game. None of this is for sale. I have to fit 600 people in here. I mean, I guess that works, right? Like, I've fit 300 almost in half of it. There's nothing stopping me, technically, from making more little rides, or, paths. Hold on one second. Stretching my screen a little bit. Get that stuff, visible again. There we go. That's close enough. I do have to remember to keep, like, windows out of the little chat area. I'm working on one screen right now. This is one of my favorite video game songs ever. Just so nice and calm. We're gonna try a mini coaster. I haven't had a whole lot of practice building this specific kind. But it looks like it doesn't require a whole lot. And it probably doesn't have a whole lot of, like, special stuff going on with it. Like, yeah, you've got it pretty simple with this. It does have a photo section, so we'll just put that right there. Right off the bat. Yeah, we'll do that. I want this thing going all around the park. This is gonna be Big Pier's Millennium Force. Fucking great. The music's all gone. The magic is ruined. I own this? I own this little part of the park? Am I allowed to, like... I'm gonna take a stab and say I'm not allowed to, like... Oh, no! My heart. It would have been so cool. Not up high enough to do that. We'll figure something out. Like, I could go under everything, maybe. Might look a little awkward. Okay, no, that's fucking sick. It doesn't go through it very quickly, but it's a junior coaster. What do you want? Right? Like, what do you want from me? Damn, off by one. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that's not too intense. I'm off by one again, somehow. I think it happened again. I'm having the problem. There we go. That's it. That's what it's supposed to look like. It doesn't really matter too much how quickly it barrels into the station. Just a little bit of discombobulation right there. It'll be okay. Take this sign down. It's not really needed anymore. But we'll still prevent people from going, like, here. Take this sign down as well. Looping roller coaster would have been really good to have before I wasted this space on a junior coaster. Like, I guess it's not too late to just tear this down and use the looping coaster instead. This is gonna bring in so much more, like, so many more people than the mini roller coaster. I guess it wasn't a junior coaster, it was a mini, which is not much different in my brain. But the looping coaster is immediately going to draw in more people, and I can put a loop in it. Okay, we're demolishing this, and we're basically just going to remake this same design. Because that's going to help us significantly with getting people into our park, which is our scenario goal, and also, wow, people really flocked to this area real quick. And, like, as good as we're doing on the scenario goal, I don't think it's going to be an issue either way. But this is also, like, it's going to be a more intense ride in a park that does not have a lot of intense rides. Which is kind of important. We don't have many opportunities to make rides for the guests who prefer the crazier stuff. So I think this space would be best utilized for that. I want to see how fast it takes this loop before continuing. Okay, not too bad. And we'll pretty much just do the same old trick right here. We might take this a little bit faster than before. Probably a good thing. We can even maybe get away with a little bit of this without jostling anyone's neck too hard. Yeah, that looks pretty chill. Let's transition that into this. Helix's boosters. Yeah, we don't need any of that. Maybe we can dedicate just a little more space to this. Maybe. Oh, fuck yeah! Go through the loop. If we can get it the hell back out. With an S-bend, maybe. Oh, man. This is where that thing I was talking about last time would have been really good. Where we need the Thrillville, please complete this ride for me button. Also, that is... It's not the prettiest part of this little coaster. In fact, I'm wondering if it's even worth, like, doing this. Okay, we can go straight here. For a little bit. We can't complete a turn because we don't... Like, at least not in that direction. Because we don't own it. And we can't complete a turn that way. And if we block this off, we're going to have a problem with, like, getting our entrances and exits. Ooh. Can we? Maybe, maybe, maybe. There it is. Hell yeah. We got it. Test. The success of this ride determines the future of our park. This is the one that matters. A guest who really likes intense rides will ride this more than once. Decent sized line. I don't want to... So a kind of niche thing that can happen in this game, if you have a slope going down into the exit, there is like a small chance that when a mechanic goes down to like check on the ride or fix it, that the mechanic will slip through and go under when he goes into the exit. So that's usually not a problem, right? Like he just hits the ground and then he's on the path again. But if there is water under, you will eventually find that the mechanic has drowned. And we don't really want that. Like we don't really get punished for it in the same way that we do when a guest drowns, at least not as far as I can remember. Hire some new handymen, hire some new mechanics. We can afford it. Oh god, we can afford it. We can't afford that. Holy shit, we are so broke. Where's my, what's my price manager set at? 20%? I guess that's fair. I'll keep it at 20 and just hope that more people spend more money in my beautiful park. Also, how is this? This is a pretty good set of stats. It's not actually that intense. If anything, this is more intense. Like this is the more intense ride. My life is Silksong right now. I'm watching it, I'm playing it, I keep forgetting other sites are a thing. What is this game? It looks like if Silksong was made of metal. I'm glad people are having a good time with Silksong. It makes me excited for when I eventually get to Silksong. But, like, I don't know, I just waited too long. Like, I'm sure it's really, really good. I love Hollow Knight. But, like, once it finally came out, I was kind of just like, I don't know, I'm not feeling hype, I'm not ready. Also, I have 300 other games to play. And that's kind of part of why I wanted to start doing the Twitch thing. I'm like, oh hey, this would be like a good incentive for me to get through all these games I want to play. I have a lot of weird little itch games, and like, you know, maybe I'll play some of those UFO 50 games. I don't like Metroids. I hate getting lost in these games. I got enough issues with memory shit. I don't need to be playing the worst type of game for that. I feel very similarly with a lot of, like, Metroidvanias. I get very frustrated if I get lost in a game. Unless the point of the game is only to be lost, kind of like Yume Nikki, environmental exploration games, like games that do not punish you for being lost. Will say though, I felt a little bit like that the first time I played Hollow Knight. The second time I played Hollow Knight, I had a much better time. Partly because there's a pin you can get in that game that gives you a map and tells you where you are, pretty much at all times, I believe. So, like, it was pretty easy to not get lost in the first Hollow Knight game, at the very least. Hollow Knight and Silksong feel surprisingly intuitive for how big they are. I believe that, because Hollow Knight it's not too twisty, right? Like, levels are fairly straightforward. Like, the world is big and there are many places to go, but, like, once you're in a level, like, there's only so many places to go, and they're all pretty visually distinct. I was having an issue with a UFO 50 game. I think it's called... is it Vanger or Vanger? I was having, like, a lot of problems with it. It was like, where the fuck do I go? Because each level has its own color coding, but the screens themselves are very, like, you know, like, I knew where I needed to go, but I didn't know how to get there. And that was a problem for me, and I did not like it. And, like, I don't want to hold that against the game specifically, because that's part of the point of that game. It was not the kind of experience I was looking for, at least now. I am going to try to build a dinghy slide out here, maybe. I'm gonna give myself... How many tiles do I got? 1. Oh, I need it to be, like, out here. Really good to... song I'm screaming in the background for. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's a game from my childhood. Maybe I'm just a freak, but, like, even the screams and crowd noises in this for me are, like, extremely kind of comforting and nostalgic. Nostalgic for their screams of terror. Oh no, the fucking... that's right. What if we had another ride that looped all the way around? What if our devious little trick was that we had 2? We can have 2 rides that go all the way around the big pier. They just have to not hit each other. Somehow. What if they kiss? Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Can we do it? Maybe we can. This one doesn't even technically have to go all the way around. We could definitely get away with, like, just having this loop back from here. It is a little bit awkwardly positioned already. And getting, yeah, I think it's gonna end up cut off if we try to go all the way, because this is already creating like a loop that cuts off. Like I can see a path, but it's not gonna be a good ride, I don't think, at least not aesthetically. And we're already kind of bumping into stuff that's a little bit ugly. This place is kind of a mess. But you know what? It is a beautiful mess. Messes in this game are gorgeous, I think. Just seeing the chaos of all these rides, like, interacting. You know, they only give you so much space, and you gotta fit like 600 little freaks in here. Oh my god, I'm out of money. I wasn't even looking. I wasn't even looking at my money. Come on, guys. Buy a little bit more, please. I need to finish this ride. You guys want to ride the ride, don't you? Come on. Buy a little burger. I don't even know how to fucking finish this one. Yeah, what if there were roller coasters and they got a little weird with it? A very sharp 180-degree turn at the end. I am literally trying that the best I can. And it's not coming to fruition as well as I'd hoped. A lot of things are, like, not aligning. Or I should say, I guess they're aligning a lot, and that's bad. But I might have figured it out. I might have cracked the code here. Oh, God, what? 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 What hasn't returned to the fucking station? I thought that said dinghy slide. Boat 1 on dinghy slide. Why did it tell me that? Oh, even in the simulation, yeah, they're not making this. Okay, I'm glad that it gives me a little fucking notice for the simulations, because I didn't notice that shit. Also, it gives me a chance to completely rethink, like, what I'm doing here. Okay. I think we do try to just complete the loop, because that's going to give us the best kind of, like, chance at actually getting back into the station. Because whatever I was trying before is, like, the initial placement station is what's making it really difficult. Yeah, like, I could alter this a bit. The problem is I wanted at least one space away from, like, this area here. Like, this is the only space I have here, in case I need to go through there. Ooh, info kiosk. But also, if I have more than one space here, like, that's... Like, I need more than one away from this in order to place the entrances and exits. So, I was really kind of in a bind. I didn't have much choice, like, here. I could make it less long, but then the throughput wouldn't be as good. It's all about that throughput. These rides ain't paying for themselves, except they kind of are. We're making a big profit. Like, I just had to wait like a couple minutes, and we got a couple $1,000. Where am I? Where is the ride? Yeah, I think a lot of people turn the cha-ching noise off, and I just can't bring myself to do it. Oh, I see the little area I've ducked into here is not working. This is a very overstimulating game for some people, I would imagine. Or it has the potential to be. Yeah, see, like, all these straightaways and stuff, like, it's not an exciting ride. Like, for half of it, right? Like, we've got some ups and downs, and that's pretty good. But, like, half of this ride is dedicated to just, like, making sure it gets back. But also, I feel like if I rode this in real life, outside of hitting my head on the tops of these little ramps that stop me from, like, flying off, I wouldn't complain about these little straightaways, right? You're in a little water boat. It's exciting enough. Damn, footpath is in the way. Cringe. Can we fit one more drop? Like, one more actually really good drop. It's looking like a no, if I'm gonna be real with you. Well, hold on. We have to sacrifice, I think, one station to make it work. One little station piece for that one little last drop. But it'll be worth it because we can open up the final quarter. Do you think the people see the parts of the park disappear and reappear from above? Do they feel fear? They have animations where they watch it. Like, they will stop and watch as you build stuff. So yes, I think yes on both accounts. Now we just have to do a real test. Ah, fuck, I should have put the fucking umbrellas out. It's raining and I'm not selling umbrellas by the fucking fistful. I didn't notice until a little bit ago that we unlocked the info kiosk. Gonna fill our park. It does rain here a lot, which is really unfortunate because most of our rides people will not ride if it's raining. But they will spend $20 on umbrellas. And that's pretty good. That's good news. We're gonna make a lot of blue ones, and then there's gonna be one kiosk that will put... Like, I don't want too many people buying these ones. Put it, like, right here. This one has the gold ones. And that'll generally keep our vibe of mostly blue with a touch of gold. I like making the umbrellas have different colors, same with balloons. For me, it kind of just depends on the park I'm doing. Like in this, we have a color scheme, right? Like, we've got a thing going on. So I'm going to try to keep to that color scheme for the most part. Where it's like, okay, this is the blue part with a touch of gold. So we have a bunch of blue umbrellas, and like, see, look, they're coming out now. But like, we've got a couple little pieces of gold sprinkled in there. It's already happening. We're making a lot of money off of umbrellas right now. Unfortunately, that means we are also draining our guests dry, and they're going to start leaving. Those are pretty good stats on this. And every time we build a ride that's like right next to another ride, every ride's like, you know, all the stats go up. So like this one is now 6.82. It wasn't that high before. This one probably rose as well. Like, it's almost at a 7. Have you unlocked ATMs yet? This is a RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 scenario, so the ATM does not exist. Once someone's out of money, they're gone. So that makes scenarios where you have to get a certain amount of guests a little trickier. To help with that a little bit, we are in March year 2. And this ends, I think, October? Yeah. RCT2 definitely made things easier with some of these. End of October, year 2, and we're in March. And we have 150 guests to go. Definitely doable, but it's going to be hard because we're pretty much out of roller coaster space. I could do another one of these Wild Mouse coasters, but it's going to attract less than the first one because we already have one. It's still going to attract a decent amount, but I think at this point we've got to rely, and I try not to do this too much, but we're going to rely on marketing. We're going to put like half of our money towards like the dinghy slide, and like we can't afford that. We'll put 2 weeks on this as well. And that'll get us guests that break through the soft guest cap. That's just free money coming in, basically. But more importantly, it's guest numbers. We don't have a merry-go-round yet. We can place one of those. It's definitely a lesser ride, even among flat rides in this game. It doesn't perform too great. But, like, what's a park without one, right? Suspended swinging coaster. That is a big coaster that you unlock in April year 2. That you will not have space for. That, I think, is not well timed. Like, I guess I probably could figure out a way, but it would be bad. You'd have to, like, save the space for the final push in order to even use that. Make another Wild Mouse. Maybe we have the funds for it, maybe we don't. I think we'll be fine. Pretty compact coaster. Good background sound when working on database entry. Now that's a relatable feeling. You know what's funny is I was really convinced that after working on my monster, I was gonna like put a lot of effort into helping Glitchwave out with like their GameCube, and I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not feeling that anymore. I knew this little space behind here would come in handy. And it's like, it's unfortunate because Glitchwave is like the easiest game database to like add stuff to, generally speaking. And like, I'm still a mod on there in some capacity. Not a mod, but like, I can add games and stuff and like help other people. Feeling of motivation that comes and goes. Yeah, I think it's just like, you know, I don't feel the same towards like regular music necessarily, but like I've definitely soured on Glitchwave. I do not see that site flourishing. It's just like there was a time when I believed, and that time is not now anymore. It's just. I don't know. It's kind of just tough to like feel that way towards Glitchwave when. Oh damn! I'm out of money. Oh god! I'm in the red. I have never had this much of a problem with money in a scenario. At least not for a while. I guess I just haven't been paying attention to it. But yeah, it's just like Glitchwave wants to kind of be a games database where people can chat and rate and, you know, do all that fun stuff about video games. But like they got shoulder checked hard by Backlogged, and it's not hard to see why. It has a community, like, obviously they're different communities. The people who use Glitchwave are not necessarily the people who use Backlogged. But Backlogged has, like, a big community. It has working lists. It's got, like, actual reviews. And, I don't know, using, and, like, you know, it has features that aren't broken. And when you click the rules page, it takes you to the rules. When you click the rules page on Glitchwave, it takes you to a 404 page, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's a little rough, right? Like, I don't want to, I don't know. And the state of moderation on there is questionable too, but that's for another conversation. And it's like Glitchwave has its own awesome stuff going on, right? Like, it has its own database as opposed to Backlog. Backlog relies on IGDB. So if something happens to IGDB, what happens to Backlogged? Like, it doesn't have robust tagging. Glitchwaves is a little messy, but it exists. It has really robust genres and charts. But it's also, like, you know, without a roadmap or an estimate, and it's like, I understand why they can't provide those things. Their development team is one, two, three people, maybe? But it's just like, you know, it's a little hard to put faith in the site that feels like it's been stuck in development hell forever. That's also, like, attached at the hip to the music site that gets all of the kind of, like, attention, I guess. Like, I wish I could say I had more confidence in Backlog, or, sorry, Glitchwave. It would be nice. I didn't even finish this coaster, basically. I accidentally... Uh-oh. Oops. Who is correct? They're doing the best they can. You know? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It seems like they're doing the best they can. They don't have a lot of resources, and like all big projects, it's taking them longer than they expected. Oh no, oh no, oh no, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Alright. We've got a... Oops. Let's just... What are we doing? There we go. But yeah, I'm still in, like, rate your music image queues. And I haven't been doing that too much lately, outside of, like, I happen to stumble across a page that has one that has been uploaded but not approved, and I approve it, and then maybe I look at the other stuff that person posted. Because chances are, if they did one right, they did the others right. And so, you know, you do your checks, but you don't have to worry too hard. I do that exact thing with corrections. Yeah. I mean, it's also like, you see a lot of the, like, power users, right, who frequently upload images to rate your music, who just, like, consistently do it correctly. And it's like, those are pretty easy to go down, right, if they've uploaded, like, 100 new images today. It's kind of just like, oh, I can go through this person's images. I made this one red on accident. I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Fucked up, yeah. Never gonna hear the end of that one. Observation tower unlocked. Well, we're in May. We need another advertising campaign for the park. This is going to take a bunch of our money, but that's okay because we are pretty much done building. Like, for what it's worth. Maybe another toilet. I haven't checked people's thoughts at all. Like, 47 people are running out of cash. That means 47 people are about to exit this park, right? And as long as those people were brought here through natural guest generation, they'll get replaced pretty quickly. But if those are people who came here because of an ad, they don't get replaced unless you are still running ads, right? The game does not spawn in new people when they leave if they were there because of an ad. So ads are something you really need to keep up in this game if you still want those guests. We will even... We'll run free burgers. Let's run free burgers. Entertainers, why not? We could probably afford it. We haven't hit max park rating. We aren't... It's not because of any deductions. We just don't have... Let's see... More guests would help. And if the rides were more exciting and intense. Like, you can kind of see this here. In most scenarios, you kind of want this balanced intensity of 5.2. And we're a little bit under that, right? Because we've got some flat rides, like the Ferris wheel, interfering with our mighty, powerful wooden Wild Mouse 2-in-1. But also, we're pretty much out of space. Whoa, what the? They have like all these little houses here. No wonder I'm having a hard time getting people in. They're getting lost in this fucking... this little house maze. Maybe they aren't. Maybe they aren't. But it sure does look like they could if they wanted. Hopefully their pathing is good enough to get all the way out here. It does look kind of funny from far away. We unlocked anything good since the last time I looked? Not really. We hit 600. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We just have to keep this amount of deaths, basically. I do wonder, though, like, you know, if I really put some elbow grease into it, like, sat down and focused for, like, 1 hour a day, like, how long it would take me to get through all of the pending glitch wave game applications. I don't think it'd take that long. It's just mustering the the courage to go into there, right? The real wait is waiting for the submitter to respond. Yeah. But we've got like we've got a good amount that are waiting for admin, right? Like we're waiting for moderator response on some of these. And some of those, you go all the way into the back, it's years, right? And it's like, that's understandable to us because we know how small of a group it is who are on the site and active. But to the end user, that's fucking ridiculous, right? Like, someone who's come into this website for the first time and wants to submit some stuff, even if they do it right, like, to know that we have stuff that's been on the back burner for, like, years is daunting. It's like, oh, well, I don't know, IGDB gets to my stuff in, like, a week or two max, so I'll go there. There's, like, the motivation to add stuff on Glitchwave, and it's like, we're pretty good, like, I've noticed when I submit stuff, the recent stuff I submit gets approved, right? It gets approved pretty quick. So maybe it's not as much of an issue now, but we definitely have a backlog of stuff that just hasn't been gotten to. I think actually, too, IGDB has one that's been a while. I messaged them about it on Discord, and they were like, oh yeah, it's the holidays. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I think that one still hasn't been gotten to. Maybe I should ping them again. But then it's like, I also don't want to be a bother. Because, like, I dual submit stuff to IGDB and Glitchwave. And that's another thing, too. If we're waiting for the submitter to respond, a mod can pick it up, right? Like, we can, if we so choose, adopt the submission. And then just, like, I don't know if we're supposed to fix the ones we adopt, but, like, I know I have done it. I can't approve it, I don't think, but you know. Or no, maybe that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. You're supposed to fix the ones you adopt. I don't know if I'm able to submit it after adopting it. But, like, if you can, I probably have. Just because it's like, damn, we have like a couple thousand of these. Some of those are so old too that it's like they have links to things that are dead. They have dead links in them. And it's like, hey, can you submit a new link? Asking that after it has been a year or two is like ridiculous, right? For a moderator to do. Like, it wouldn't be dead if you didn't take 2 years to get to it. Like, that's how it feels as a user of the site, right? Like, it is the mod's fault the link is dead, more or less. And so, for a lot of those dead links, I'll look it up myself. I'm not asking someone to submit another link. I will look it up myself. I will, as a moderator, post the link, and then I will approve it. An alternate color scheme on this. Just like just a little bit of that. A little pizzazz. Bumper cars. Can we even fit bumper cars? It's not looking great for bumper cars. Actually, it's looking... Okay, it's still not looking great for bumper cars, but we can do it. Bumper cars on the water. I'm not going to bother the submitter with that, especially in the most early corrections now. They're 2 years old. Yeah, they're like, you know, a lot of those people aren't even around anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those people aren't around because we didn't get to their submissions. And it's like, I don't necessarily, you know, I don't blame us for that, right? Because, like, there's a lot to get through, and we're volunteers. I don't think it was realistic for, I don't know. The state the site launched in, I feel, was not sufficient. We didn't have sufficient, like, volunteers and people and staff and moderation tools and all of that. That's part of why I was like, hey, I'd like to step down as a community mod. I don't want to be, I will not be complicit in how poor the moderation tools in Glitchwave are. I will not have my name attached to this. And I know that's a little bit like yikes emoji, like hissing through gritted teeth for someone to say, like, in a in a public space, I guess, but I've done it a couple times, and I think it's serious, and I'm only a little bitter about it, because when I was like, hey, these tools aren't great, when are we getting real moderation tools on this gamer site full of gamers? I was told to watch my tone. When I was just like, hey man, it might not be, like, good that our moderation tools are lacking on a gamer site for gamers, where gamers can upload images and we can't view their image upload history by user, right? We have to stumble into every image that they've uploaded. Guess they're complaining about the lengths of queues. Well, I don't care. I don't care that they're complaining about the queues. We'll give them some entertainers to hang out with them, inject some happiness. Like, I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked. I was told that, like, I was being facetious with how surprised I was. But genuinely, I'm shocked that anyone thought that they could launch a gaming site without the same, at least the same level of moderation tools that Rate Your Music has. Like, I'm still kind of flabbergasted. We're in the final 3 months of this scenario, and there's not really much more I can build. It's a very odd response to a question. You know, like, I understand where they come from. Because, essentially, you know, to them, what I was asking, you know, it came off as a demand, right? I am demanding something from the volunteer moderators, and not moderators, but the volunteer developers of this website. Maybe they aren't all volunteers. Maybe some of them are paid, right? But I am making a demand of some kind, right? In their eyes. It's like, where are our moderation tools? It's like, why I'm working as hard as I can, and I get that. But this is, like, you know, I responded to that. I defended myself. I was just like, this is something you should have had before launching. And then I was told, we'll get to it eventually. And I think I lasted like a couple more months, maybe a month after that. And then I was just like, I don't have time for this. I'm developing a game. I'm developing my own game, and maybe I will come back and help when I am done developing it. But now that I'm done developing it, I'm just like, I want to play my video games and draw my pictures and stream on Twitch and make music and do things that isn't helping out Rate Your Music's little side project. Video gaming in real life is a little fucked up. I'd rather video game in a video game. Like that one, the VR emulator. And I'm not talking about, like, the emulator that makes NES games 3D. I'm talking about the VR game where they put you in a room with a TV and a controller, and you pick the controller up, and it's your real-life controller, and you play NES ROMs on the TV in VR. That's gaming in video games. as opposed to real life. I don't know. I also suggested to them, I think, 3 times now. So, like, in the synopsis page of Glitchwave, right? You're supposed to write your own synopsis. You are supposed to come up with your own, because they do not want the official storefront synopses on the Glitchwave pages. And technically it says that in the rules, right? Like, somewhere buried in there, they have it written down that that's what you're supposed to do. But when you click on the Add a Synopsis page, it does not tell you to write your own. It says to follow the rules. And that would be fair, I guess. It's not ideal, but it would be fair if the link to follow the rules actually sent you to the rules, but it sends you to a 404 page. And so people can't quickly access the correct rules page from the synopsis page. And the synopsis page itself does not tell you that the writing has to be original. So people copy-paste the storefront stuff. And that was my thing. Like, I made that my thing as a community mod to get rid of official storefront descriptions. And then it was like, for a long time, I was trying to use Glitchwave's own, like, system for warning people about it. Not even a warning, just a message, like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. But it turns out none of the warnings you give on Glitchwave count for anything. You have to do it over on Rate Your Music. And so it's like, I'm not gonna keep track of every single person who ever submitted a synopsis and the date I warned them to see if they did it again after I warned them over on a different site. Please just put somewhere on the synopsis page, hey, please write an original synopsis. And I've been like, hey, maybe the synopsis page can say that, like, 3 times. Just a little bit of text. And I understand that no change is too small to be annoying or work or complicated. But people are gonna keep submitting their store synopsis if you don't have that there, and they still don't. So, I gave up. I think for like a couple months, the Half-Life Alyx synopsis was just the word sus. Like, that's one of the top 100 games on Glitchwave. I'm pretty sure it's in the top 20. And for a long time, you would go to that page and it's like, oh, what's Half-Life Alyx about? And it's just sus. Yeah, that is an original synopsis. I mean, I did laugh. It did make me laugh, I have to admit. It was overall, that person who submitted the single word sus, all lowercase, to the Half-Life Alyx page on Glitchwave did society probably a net positive. Because people looked at it and laughed and it didn't harm anyone. Now, I'm not saying that people should do that on Glitchwave. But it did make me laugh, and it probably made some other people laugh, too. Mostly, yeah, I thought it was funny that it lasted so long on, like, such a popular page. Alright, we're into the final 2 months. I think I have to get through all of October as well. I have a lot of money now. But, like, there's very little space to build anything else. Just from the retrospective retelling of it, it made you laugh. Yeah, see, it's you know... Could do a lot worse. But also, pretty please don't do that. If you're hearing this and you're getting thoughts in your head, please don't do that. We do our best to keep those kinds of websites clean and tidy for people. Go bother the folks at Wikipedia or something. How's everyone doing? I'm running out of cash. Well, I don't care because there's not 193 of you. Already got a park map, clean and tidy. Need to go to the bathroom, not too bad. Now that I have a lot of money and people, you know, are kind of just in the park and they're gonna be here a while, I'm gonna go into the price manager, which is this nice little extension. I talked about it last time I streamed this. Unfortunately, no bog. This manages your prices for you. It's like if you know how to do your prices already, this kind of just takes out a little bit of the boring, busy work. But you can enable a lazy tax on yourself. You know, if you feel a little bad about doing it, you can make it so it's like, oh, like, don't make this stuff cost the max that it could. Make it a little less than that. I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to crank this up, which is going to make everything really cheap in my park. Now that we've already pretty much secured our victory, I'm going to make everything cheap in the park. It'll make people stay. And they're going to be filled with thoughts of, wow, this is a good deal. Like, Looping Coaster 1 is a really good value. And unless people will run out of cash. Moj. Oh, fuck, I forgot about the Twitch integration. I'm pretty sure you can do Twitch integration. I talked about that last time, too. I'll have to look that up. Next time for sure. I'll try to get the Twitch integration working. This is a cute little park, though. I do like the way it looks overall. I like coasters and stuff that get real close to each other and go through each other. I do like this scenario. I like that the dock is lifted, which gives you some chances to go over and under. It's good stuff. Not particularly difficult if you have a little bit of building knowledge. Money was tight a couple times. But that's just because I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to build big stuff, I guess. What's this guy think? No, not the ride. I want this guy right here. Yes. Wow, so blue. Yeah, we got a blue part. Got some gold in there, but it's pretty blue focused. And we're almost done. We've got just about 1 month left. We're not into October yet, but we're almost there. Gold is probably my favorite color to pair with this kind of blue. white kind of being the next one, which is why I went with those three specifically. Where's all these boats at? There's like one that's mid-ride. Oh, it broke down, that's why. Alright. Where's boat one then? That's broke, alright. I will make everything black and white and some cool color. Black, white, green. Black, white, green is good. It's very, very Xbox. Yeah, the Beetlejuice colors. I know it wasn't very good, but I love the visual style of, like, the Beetlejuice cartoon. Allison Court voiced Lydia in that. Me typing frantically to remember who that was. Oh, Claire Redfield. I'm sorry, she has a son named Blade? That's pretty awesome. The month is half over. This scenario and the stream are both coming to an end. A little bit sad that I didn't get to give people, like, shirts and balloons in this scenario. Didn't unlock that stuff. And we never paid back our loan. I like to generally try paying back the loan, but it didn't happen this time. If we had another year, I would have been able to do it, but that would have been a really boring and bad scenario to give you 3 years and only this much space. Like, I guess technically I could build it up if I was, like, desperate and bad. But, like... I don't know. What do people think about the bumper cars? A lot of the time people are like, I'd love to get off the bumper cars. Yeah, they're doing okay with it. If the bumper cars don't get enough guests on it, then it never starts, and people get stuck waiting in the bumper cart, and then they want to get off of it before they can even bump. And the bumper cars has broken down. Really good timing. But yeah, so usually if I build a bumper cars, I'll take some of the cars out. I didn't do it this time. That's a Nick hot tip. It's already got kind of like a bad throughput anyway. It's a ride you place down to have and for its looks mostly. There it is, just about the end of the scenario. They're gonna clap, and I'm gonna type in Big Chungus, and it's gonna say Big Chungus has completed this. Could I sully my game with such an awful thing? No. I'll just type sus. Big win! Well, I did it, yay. Big Pier. Show off the Dense Park. Oh my god, you're right. I need to show off the Dense Park. How could I forget? That's like the most important thing. Hi, I went for a walk. You just missed me beating the scenario. However, you did make it in time for me to show off the Dense Park. I will continue playing my saved game. It's this one, yeah? It's like struggling to load a little. Oh, there we go. Alright, so as you can see, let me find a place where it's a little easier to see, like what I've done. So this park is arranged into like these little square grids. Like it's a little easier to see. Yeah, everything is happening here. And before I'm allowed to build, like this one's incomplete. Before I'm allowed to build more, I have to fill every square. So much currency gain. I cannot spend money fast enough. I make more money than I spend in this scenario. It's wild. So every tile has to be used, right? Now that doesn't necessarily mean the ground tile. So if I build a ride and it's like up here, these tiles count as having something on them. To me. And I'd rather not use scenery. There are a couple spots where I did place scenery down. But for the most part, that is not the case. And a lot of times when I did use scenery, it was very intentional. Like I had a whole square of it because I wanted a square of scenery. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. We have a lot of rides going in and out of each other, and there's a lot of flat rides. Like this is one of the really intentional like scenery spots. Is this this mini golf? Like I could have just put stuff down, but I chose to make like a small little pretty square. So when we zoom out, we start like lagging real bad. And you can see like, oh, here's like areas I've built out. These are how small, this is how small every square is. It's this size. And we may have done something horrible here. And look. There they go. Also, if you're in this park, like, you just get constant pings. Just, like, they never stop. There's so many rides here, they are just always in the process of breaking. There they go. Do you have a lot of employees? I have a disgusting amount of employees, yeah, I think so, yeah. Like a couple hundred for each type, and I can just make more. I'll certainly be able to afford any amount of them. I think I left, yeah, like I left one guy on top of the tower. He's heading for restroom 71, and he's so happy, and he is never going to find that restroom. He loves needing to piss so bad. Honestly, another thing, I could leave an entertainer with him. If I leave a gorilla with him, he will never get sad. That's King Kong. This is my haunted house. Maze square. That's another thing too. Mazes are extremely easy to use to fill squares, so I did what I could not to rely on them. Because you can make a maze into pretty much any shape as long as it's flat along the ground. I also wanted one of each type of ride, so there's unfortunately like a really ugly as fuck elevator here that just feeds back into itself. And I believe I set this to be free, yeah, so that they will actually write it. And I just have to hope that like nothing bad ever happens in this square here. Like, oh, sorry, it froze a little bit. Rides that act as transport are interesting, but I do wonder if their utility as such is straight up a bad idea. In the game or real life? In the game. I kind of have it. I have an answer for that. It kind of just depends, right? Peeps are not smart enough to ride a transport ride to get somewhere. So they will not see a roller coaster that's really, really far away and then take a transport ride to get to it. Peeps are only able to see a certain distance from them, which is mostly defined by turns, like how many turns they have to take. However, if they bump into a transport ride and it's free, they will always take it. Like, no questions asked, they will ride that transport ride if it's free. Yeah, so transport rides are good for getting people kind of more distributed. In the case of the elevator, it is actually extremely helpful for certain types of terrain. So it's really context dependent. It kind of relies a little bit on game knowledge. They're not necessarily a bad idea. Wasn't paying attention, love the 9/11 ride. Yeah. yeah. The planes. Yeah. I know I've made a post about it before, but I would like it etched into stone with my own voice. I do think 9/11 jokes are a moral imperative. My post is gonna put it a little more eloquently because I was allowed to, like, you know, stop and think and type it out. But I think it's a good way of showing people that it's like, you know, we can't let the tragedy of something like 9/11 dictate, like, or, you know, we can't use it to justify, like, horrible actions, right? Like the war in the Middle East, the unending war on terror, the horrible rise of, like, you know, Islamophobia that happened after, like, all kind of justified and rubber stamped by the US government with 9/11 as, like, a pretense, right? And then we get to see, like, companies like Hooters putting out, like, commemorative 9/11 shirts that you can buy, and it's like, yeah, the mass surveillance, the Patriot Act, like, that was all, you know, it's all like this, right? It's all justified by 9/11. So when I see young people, and, like, my generation does it too, but especially, like, young people who don't remember it, you know, they make 9/11 jokes. They didn't have to live through it. But it's also a sign that it's like people aren't going to buy using 9/11 as a cover for US imperialism, right? And so my hope is that because we went through kind of, you know, 9/11 as a joke kind of logic, you know, that we are able to more easily recognize when the government we're living under today tries to use similar tragedies to enact similar issues, right? And, like, how this kind of relates to, like, today's conflict between Israel and Palestine. Like, October 7th gets to be trotted out constantly as justifications for horrible things to be done to, like, the Palestinian people by Israel and backed by the United States, right? And it's like this one date, similarly to how they use 9/11, this one date gets to be the one justification they need. Palestine must always be held to account for that date. But Israel must never be held to account for anything they've ever done. Right. Like, Israel, like, does something and then way later admits, like, oopsies, yep, we did that. Or, like, oh yeah, we lied about the horrible things that were happening on October 7th. Like, they just, you know, the Wikipedia page is called Baby Beheading Hoax for a reason, right? And it's like, they never get held to account for that. But still, Palestine is held to account for October 7th. All day, every time violence is enacted upon them, as if it were still the level of intensity that was lied about. And as if October 7th did not come from, like, you know, actual issues, as if it came from nowhere, you know, as if Israel did not have, I think, around 300 hostages held in administrative detention without charge at that time, which the number has now ballooned into like 1,000 or 2,000, maybe 3. I think it's closer to like 2,000 now, held in administrative detention because maybe they'll commit a crime, so we hold them hostage using an old British law that we inherited, right? There's a whole entire Wikipedia article for Gaza War misinformation too, and it's massive. The start of my radicalization, and I will call it that, the start of my radicalization towards the left was the Wikipedia list of United States war crimes. Like, the music I was listening to as a very young kid had a very strong left bend, but you know, when you're a kid, you hear the lyrics and you're like, yeah, that's kind of just like, yeah, I hate doing chores too. And then, you know, you read a Wikipedia article that's like, here are all the horrible things the United States has done. And you're like, oh, there's more. There's more than my chores. That's a crazy article to read when you're like 13, 14. I should say, before I close up stream, this little Ferris wheel thing, this contraption, it's very hard to get them all going at the same time and at the same speed. You can get it to do that like when you first open them, if you open them all at once, but because of the way they like load people in, it's not necessarily going to like stay that way. In fact, it just won't. But this kind of idea is straight up stolen. Like, putting a bunch of Ferris wheels like this, especially in kind of like a flag formation, that is a Marcel Voss, a Marcel Voss staple. Does this all the time in his videos, and I love it every time. There's something very like tactile about this. And it looks nice from far away too. Shrek cart has broken down. I'm sorry. I don't remember Shrek cart. Oh my god, just trying to rotate it, like, freezes everything. Oh no. Did I call it that because it's green? I called it that because it's green and has a log cabin. Just trying to figure out, like, how long it took me to make Shrek Kart. Oh, by the way, August 19th, year 21. We are in the 21st year of this park. And I did not speed it up, which means I have spent maybe 19-ish hours in this park alone. Just slowly building. I made the land as big as I could. So, like, there's actually, like, a lot of space not used. Like, all of this is just in, like, a little corner. I think my computer would start to slow down if I, like, filled it even halfway or, like, a quarter way. But I do peck away at this every once in a while. Someone else has made, like, a really dense park. It's not with this specific kind of layout or goal. I'll have to find it again and maybe, like, see if they have, like, a download available of it. But, like, they made one that looks good. Like, they made a dense park that is just, like, wondrous to behold. They actually, like, decorated it and stuff. So, yeah. I think that's gonna be today's stream, everyone. Thank you for those of you who were around for what was it called? I've already forgotten. Though I am excited. Gunman contracts. Thank you for those who stuck around for good Gunman contracts. Thank you for those who stuck around for RollerCoaster Tycoon 2. Yeah, it was nice having everyone here. I will probably stream twice next week instead of 3 times. This has been fun, but I think I'm gonna stick to 2 times a week for the most part. And once I'm Twitch affiliate, I'll be able to actually post a schedule. But for now, it's just gonna be like somewhere on my Tumblr, somewhere on Blue Sky, I'll post like a visual little schedule thing. I'll have to whip something up. I'll figure out what I'm playing ahead of time. But that's gonna be it. VOD will be posted shortly. Have a good day, everybody.